You are standing in your kitchen, holding the remnants of a piece of fruit, an apple core, a banana peel, the top of a strawberry. You are finished with it, and now you have to make a choice. It is a tiny decision, one you make several times a day without a second thought. But this small moment is a gateway to understanding a powerful psychological force that shapes our world in ways we rarely see. The trash can is right there. It is open, convenient, and ready to make your problem disappear. Out of sight, out of mind. This is the path of least resistance, the default option that our lives are built around. But in the back of your mind, there is another thought, a faint whisper of guilt, a memory of an article you read or a documentary you saw. You know this organic waste is not really waste at all. Composting. It sounds responsible, ecological, and virtuous. It represents the person you aspire to be, someone who lives in better harmony with the planet. And in the gap between the easy convenience of the trash can and the vague, noble idea of composting, a psychological battle is waged. It is a conflict between your present self and your future ideals, and almost every time, the present self wins. The reason is a powerful cognitive bias, known as present bias. Our brains are wired to value immediate rewards far more than future ones. The immediate reward of throwing the peel in the trash is a clean counter and a problem solved in 2 seconds. The future reward of composting is abstract and distant. Healthier soil, a smaller landfill, a slightly better planet. These are wonderful ideas, but they do not offer the instant gratification our brain craves. So the peel goes into the trash, and you move on with your day. But what happens next? What is the true cost of that simple, convenient decision, repeated billions of times across the globe every single day? When your food scraps get mixed with your other garbage and sent to a landfill, they are buried under immense pressure, sealed away from oxygen. You might think they just break down naturally, like they would in a forest. But they do not. Without air, a different kind of decomposition takes over. It is called anaerobic decomposition. And instead of gently returning nutrients to the earth, this process releases a potent greenhouse gas, methane. Methane is a super pollutant, trapping more than 80 times as much heat in the atmosphere as carbon dioxide over a 20-year period. Landfills are one of the largest sources of human-caused methane emissions in the world. That one banana peel seems insignificant, but our brains trick us here too. We suffer from a kind of scale blindness. We cannot intuitively grasp the impact of our small, repeated actions multiplied by millions of people. We tell ourselves a story to ease the cognitive dissonance, the mental discomfort of holding 2 conflicting beliefs. I am a person who cares about the environment, and I am throwing this food scrap into a landfill. My little bit will not make a difference, but the entire landfill is made of nothing but little bits. This is the escalation. The tiny personal decision, driven by a predictable psychological bias, collectively creates a massive environmental problem. But what if we made a different choice? What if we designed a system that works with our brain, instead of against it? To understand the solution, we first need to understand the alternative magic, the process called composting. Composting is simply nature's own recycling program. It is the process of helping organic matter decompose in a way that creates something incredibly valuable, instead of something harmful. Imagine that apple core, not in a plastic bag, but in a bin with other organic materials, vegetable peels, coffee grounds, eggshells, and even yard trimmings like leaves and grass. Unlike a landfill, a compost pile is alive and breathing. It is full of oxygen. This allows a bustling community of microscopic organisms, bacteria, fungi, and protozoa, to thrive. These microorganisms are the invisible workforce of the natural world. They get to work, eating the organic scraps you have provided. They are a cleanup crew that turns a mess into a resource. As they break down the material, they generate heat. A well-managed compost pile can reach temperatures hot enough to kill off weeds and pathogens, essentially sterilizing the material while transforming it. This process is called aerobic decomposition. Because it happens in the presence of oxygen, it does not produce methane. It is a clean, efficient, and natural transformation. Over weeks or months, this team of microbes breaks everything down until it is no longer recognizable. The banana peels, the apple cores, the lettuce leaves, they all disappear. In their place is a substance that looks and smells like rich, dark earth. This is compost, also known as black gold by gardeners. It is not soil, but something far more powerful. It is a soil amendment packed with a concentrated dose of essential nutrients. When you mix compost into your garden or potting soil, you are giving your plants a superfood. Compost improves the soil's structure, helping it retain moisture so you need to water less. It also helps prevent soil erosion, keeping the valuable topsoil in place. It feeds the plants slowly and gently, reducing the need for chemical fertilizers that can harm the local ecosystem. It creates a robust, living soil that is more resilient to disease and pests. So on one hand, we have the landfill path, a decision of convenience that leads to methane, wasted resources, and a long-term environmental cost. And on the other hand, we have the composting path, a process that turns waste into a valuable resource, sequesters carbon, and builds healthier soil for growing food. The science is clear. The environmental benefit is undeniable. So why is it so hard to bridge the gap? Why does the trash can still win so often? It is because we frame the problem incorrectly. We see it as a test of willpower. I need to be more disciplined, we tell ourselves. I need to try harder to be a good person. But willpower is a finite resource. Relying on it to overcome a deeply ingrained cognitive bias like present bias is a losing strategy. You will never win a daily fight against convenience. Our brains are not dumb. They are just efficient. They are designed to automate common decisions to save energy for more complex problems. The trash can is an automated habit. To change the outcome, you do not need more willpower. You need a better design. You need to interrupt the automated habit and create a new path that is just as easy or even easier to follow. The hidden problem is not your lack of virtue. It is a design flaw in your environment. The friction involved in composting is just slightly too high for your brain's automated systems to accept. That friction might be the hassle of walking outside to a compost bin, the fear of smells in the kitchen, or simply not knowing where to start. These small barriers are everything. So we arrive at the core insight. The conflict between our good intentions and our daily actions is not a moral failing. It is a design challenge. The key principle here is the friction theory of behavior. Small amounts of friction can prevent us from doing things we want to do, while removing friction can enable new behaviors to emerge effortlessly. We overestimate the power of our intentions and dramatically underestimate the power of our environment. The path of least resistance will always be the most traveled path. The solution, then, is not to fight your own psychology. It is to accept it and design around it. Your goal should be to make the right decision the easiest decision. Stop thinking of it as disposing of waste and start framing it as collecting future nutrients. Change the language, and you begin to change the behavior. The practical solution is to start by reducing the friction to almost zero. Do not start by building a complicated 3-bin system in your backyard. Start on your countertop. Get a small, attractive container that sits right next to your cutting board. One with a lid to contain odors. Make it more convenient to toss the scrap in there than it is to walk over to the main trash can. By redesigning the space, you are not forcing a new behavior with willpower. You are seducing your brain into a better habit. You are making the right choice, the lazy choice, and that is a decision you can live with.